Yeah, we got some.
Welcome to Cane Shades Radio.
Put your cane shades on, Cane fans.
Better go tell Nick Saban to go tank the fucking season, because there's a Cox fan ready to give him a blowjob.
We ain't scared. Got the cane shades on. You motherfuckers want to talk shit? Yo, we gonna be on the air. Cane Shades Radio. Numbers 855-403-9071.
Yo, Cane Shades Radio is love to you.
Uncle D Nasty.
It's your boy Jay. What's up, y'all?
What's going on? Canes basketball, I think. Jerry, you on?
Yeah, I'm here, guys.
Yeah, it's a big week. Canes basketball, we go 2-0. We beat NC State at home, and then we go on the road and beat Syracuse.
Yeah, man. I mean, I couldn't be happier right now. I think great things are ahead. I think March Madness is ahead. I think the team's really coming together. They're winning close games. They're winning tough games. They're winning on the road. They're winning at home. What can I say? They're just winning.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I mean, last year, you know, these are games we would have lost. I mean, because the last year we were ahead, and then we managed to find a way to lose the game. We're winning now, and we're actually beating teams. Like we're doing what we're supposed to do right now. Just beating marquee teams right now, and we've only lost to Virginia and Syracuse. I mean, we got Georgia Tech, and then we got Florida State. We could be 6-2 going into the Louisville game. What do you think about that, Jerry?
I think there's a pretty good shot we could be 6-2 heading into Louisville. There are two losses in conference. One was a double overtime game to Virginia, who's still undefeated. The other was, a very tight game on the road at Notre Dame that they could have easily won had they just executed a little better down the stretch. But let me give you guys fair warning. The thing I love about this team is they compete so hard. They play really good defense. They have a plethora of backcourt players. However, I'm going to just say this now, and this is not a knock on the team. This is just my honest assessment. I have a feeling they're going to lose a game they shouldn't lose at some point. And the reason why I feel this way is they are very dependent on their backcourt. I love the guy to death, but Angel Rodriguez is, one flunker away from us losing, and he has a lot of ups and downs. He's a great player overall. Don't get me wrong. He's got a great floor game. He's a great passer. He's a great defender. He's a hell of a competitor. But he has a lot of those 2 for 12s, 2 for 14s. There's going to be a game. It might not be Georgia Tech. It might not be Virginia Tech. It might not be Clemson. I don't know. Maybe it's the second game of Boston College on the road. There's going to be a game that Miami's going to lose that you look at it and you're going to be like, wow, how the hell?
I feel the same. I feel the same way. There might be a game that we're supposed to win, but we lose. But I feel that there might be a game that we're supposed to lose and we win. It's a very polar team right now. You understand what I'm saying?
I agree 100%. I mean, like, everybody would probably put down, they play Louisville twice, right? Everybody was probably going to mark those down as 2 losses. But I look at Louisville's style of play and I say, man, they like to press. They like to get up on you. That's built for Manu Lacan and Angel Rodriguez to succeed. They love those games. If Miami beat Louisville, one of the 2 games, I wouldn't be shocked a bit. Not at all.
But you know what has me confident is the Notre Dame game. Whenever Angel would go out, it seemed like Newton and Manu, they would the offense would slow down. Yesterday when they played Syracuse and it was Newton and Manu in there, the offense was still going. There was no actually they played a little bit better yesterday without Angel in the first half.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And what's really strange about it is they benched Angel and Sheldon for a good part of the first half, and they were playing really well. When those guys came in is when Syracuse came back. Angel Rodriguez and Sheldon McClellan combined for 0 first-half points, and Miami was still tied at 26 against Syracuse on the road. That in and of itself is remarkable. Newton is a guy that's really he didn't do that much yesterday, and he didn't do that much against NC State, but he reminds me a lot of Duran Scott except more of a natural point guard even than Durant Scott. The way he takes the ball to the basket, just the aggressive style of play he has, the swag he plays with. I love his game, and I think he's going to be big for the Canes down the stretch.
I mean, these three freshmen with Newton, Palmer, and Sherman, I mean, they're a great pool right now.
Yeah, and that's what's crazy. Sherman was a 3 or 4 star guy. Newton was the most highly touted. He was a top 50 national player, but he wasn't a McDonald's All-American. And Sherman was kind of an under-the-radar guy, Palmer. Palmer was an under-the-radar guy from Washington, D.C. He played for a great program, but they had so many talented players there. I think he only scored like 12 points a game in senior season. So he kind of went under the radar. But all these guys are great pickups, and Miami's program's in really good shape, with these guys having 3 more years after this year with the program.
Definitely. We're only going to get better with this team. I mean, the team's young. Everybody's coming back. Definitely don't want to look too far ahead in the future, but this next year's team is going to be something special.
I couldn't agree more. First of all, any of the bumps in the road we have now that you're looking at, these games against Eastern Kentucky, where they look like they're out of sync. There's 9 new players that have never played with each other in a game heading into this year. Next year, they'll have all the experience they're picking up this year, and they're all going to get better over the summer, and they're all going to have a better feel for each other. And while Joe Thomas graduates, they're going to pick up Kamari Murphy, who's a much better, with no disrespect to Joe Thomas. Kamari Murphy's, he doesn't step outside and shoot threes the way Sherman does, but he's a better version of Sherman from 10 feet in. He can score and he can rebound. So you add to the mix, and you add all the experience these guys are going to have. And I mean, you guys are going to think I'm crazy, but I think next year could be a Final Four run type year. That's how high I am on all these players and what they have building right now.
Oh,
I'm with you 100% on that. 100%. I said the same thing after the Syracuse game. I said, I think it was going into the half, and it was like, man, once these guys get it all together and in sync with each other, this is the Final Four team next year.
Yeah. And you know what? We shouldn't sell this year down the road yet. I don't think they're a Final Four team. I think they rely a little too much on the three-pointer. I think Tanya Jakiri is one of the most improved players in the country, not only the ACC, but I think Tanya Jakiri can take another step up when he gets an offensive rebound, turning around and dunking with 2 hands instead of kicking it back out. He's just, the light bulbs come on for him, but he's just one step away from being like a superstar type center. So he can improve. I mean, and you look at it, and the biggest thing to me is they have the right coach. I don't want to make this about football, and I don't want to slam Al Golden or anything. It's apples and oranges, but they have the right coach. Larranaga gets every little bit of effort and ability out of these guys that they have. He did it 2 years ago when they won the ACC. Last year they were a team completely bereft of talent, and he managed to cook 17 wins out of them. The guy's just a masterful coach.
Well,
this is finally his team. He finally got his players now. I mean, the first couple of years he was dealing with the other coaches' talent. Now this is his talent now.
Yep.
Well, I knew last year when I saw our team last year competing with Dukes and all that, they weren't blowing us out. Except Duke was the only school to blow us out. But we were in these games, beating North Carolina's. I'm like, we have a good coach.
Yeah, especially the 2 games against Syracuse. I mean, last year Miami had nothing, and the Syracuse team was so much better last year than what they are this year. They had a couple NBA players, Ennis, the point guard, who I think is on the Phoenix Suns now, and a couple other really good players. And Miami was in both of those games. It came down to the wire both times. They were like 1 or 2 shots away from sweeping Syracuse last year. And that was the Syracuse team, I think, started out the year 24-0.
Yeah, they did.
So,
yep.
And my thing about Syracuse is last year, Reed, he had some big games against them, and he had a pretty good game the other day against them too.
Yeah, Devon Reed, I know you guys know, had an MCL tear, and he missed, I think, the first 10 games this year. And through maybe the next 3 or 4 games that he played, he really didn't do much. His legs are back under him. Against NC State, he got out in the break, and he got a nice alley-oop dunk on a nice feed from Rodriguez, and I had to do a double take. I thought it was McClellan. When it was Reed, I was like, wow, he's really back. because he got well above the rim and he finished strong. Yesterday, Reed was the unsung hero. He was 4 for 5 from the floor. He had 11 points on only 5 shots, hit 2 threes. And, Cooney got loose for a couple of threes on him, but for the most part, that was Reed following up Cooney and forcing him into really difficult shots. Reed is the guy that is the Bruce Bowen, if you will, of the Miami Hurricanes. Whoever, Ruben Patterson, whoever you want to compare it to, he's the stopper. They have that guy now that if they play a team that has a really talented perimeter or wing player, or even a point guard, it doesn't matter. He can guard anybody on the floor. When Miami faces a team that has that really go-to guy, really go-to scorer, they have a guy in Reed they could just sick on him. They just put Reed on him. I mean, Reed and McClellan both did well against NC State. NC State, Trevor Lacey is, lighting everybody up. And they put Reed on him, and they basically shut him down. So you give Jim Larinaga a guy like Reed with his length, his footwork, he's got good hands, he's got all the attributes you want in a stopper defender. You give Larinaga a guy like that, and that's really dangerous because all the guards they have, Shaqiri really developing down low. They have 8 or 9 guys that can hit threes. I mean, their inside scoring isn't what we want it to be, and Uceda's coming along slow still. But Reed's presence, Reed being at 100% now these last couple of games, takes him to another level in my mind.
Okay, I got a question. Burnett. What's up with Burnett? Is he out of the rotation? Has it been the matchups? What has it been?
It's been tight-lipped. We haven't heard anything from Coach L in the post-games or any of the pressers about Burnett. The only thing I can say is if you look at Miami's rotation right now, right? They got Reed in the starting lineup with McClellan, Rodriguez, Sherman, and Shaqiri, and that's a nice starting lineup. But Sherman playing the stretch 4, Shaqiri doing everything he does down low, Reed and McClellan causing havoc on the wings, and Angel running the show. Now you go to the bench. He's given Manu Lacan a lot of minutes. Now Lacan either plays alongside Rodriguez or he plays with Rodriguez. Then you got the guy in James Palmer. James Palmer is basically filling the role that DeAndre Burnett had for a little while. I mean, Burnett also started for a little while, but now that Reed's back, there's more room from the start. And I think Palmer's just past him. Palmer's that guy off the bench that comes in and knocks down a couple threes, that, gets a drive or two, that basically comes in the game and they say, get us some points. And then on top of that, you got the emergence of Jaquan Newton. Jaquan Newton, with all due respect to DeAndre Burnett, is a true point guard, and he can drive and finish and do some of the things Burnett does well. So he's a little more comfortable with the ball in his hands, running the point if you want to move Angel or LeConte off the ball. So I don't think it's so much of an indictment on Burnett. I just think he's run into a situation where he's at a position that they're so deep. I mean, if you're, let's say Miami had gotten Dalvin Cook and they had Yerby and they already had Duke Johnson and you're like the 4th string running back. You're sitting there watching all those guys get playing time and be productive. Is that really something you're doing wrong, or just guys are better than you? That's what I see with Burnett. I don't think he's done anything wrong. I think he's just behind guys that are producing, and there's only so many mids to go around. So that's what I think is the case. I'm going to be on the teleconference tomorrow with Jim Larinaga. If I get a chance to ask him, I'll try and figure out if there's anything more to this. Officially I haven't heard anything about DeAndre Burnett, and the only thing that I can speculate is that he's just been passed in the rotation by guys that are playing a little better than he is.
All right, before you go, let me ask you this question. How did we get Jim Larinaga to the University of Miami? Did he come to us? How did that hire happen?
It's a great story, and it's so many things worked out just right. Okay, so Frank Haith was the former Miami coach, and this was right around the time that the Shapiro stuff was just coming out. I can't. Now, we know that there was a show clause with Frank Haith, and that was after he left Miami and ended up at Missouri. I don't know what's been proven and unproven in what Frank Haith did and his role in the whole Shapiro scandal. There was a rumor that DeQuan Jones, who was a 5-star recruit that had a so-so career at Miami, was paid $10,000, but that was later proven to be unfounded, and Daquan Jones' suspension was lifted for his senior year, and everything was fine with that. But there was something going on with Haith that he had one foot out the door. And when Missouri offered, Haith took it. So Miami had this opening, and it couldn't come at a more perfect time. Larranaga had a fallout with George Mason. He was longtime friends with the athletic director, and there was something going on with his contract. I don't remember all the specific details, but Larranaga's contract basically expired, and they were having trouble coming to an agreement on an extension. So Larranaga was basically a free agent. And Miami job opened up just at the right time for probably bad reasons, whatever the deal is with Haith. Like I said, I can only speculate. Larranaga was a long-time assistant years before coaching at George Mason at the University of Virginia, back in the days when Virginia had Ralph Sampson in the early 80s. So he's already familiar with the ACC terrain, having been an assistant for so long in Charlottesville. And he always had a dream to come back and coach in the ACC. Jim Larranaga's son, who I'm not sure where he is now, but he was assistant with the Boston Celtics for a couple of years. He's also in coaching. Jim Larranaga's son coaxed Larranaga into sending a resume to the University of Miami. And the former athletic director, his name's on the tip of my tongue, he's at Nebraska now, at UM, just thought it was great that he actually came to Miami wanting the job. And, Larranaga's got a very charismatic personality. I can only imagine what that interview was like, with him probably, wowing our former athletic director, and he ended up getting the job. And, I mean, what's crazy is, if you follow UM Hoops the way I do, when that opening came, everybody, and I mean everybody, myself included, wanted Miami to go after Frank Martin, the former South Carolina coach.
So did I.
That, he was a high school coach in Miami for years. He knows the area. He's former K-State coach that is now at South Carolina, I should say. Everybody wanted Frank Martin. Frank Martin was a winner at K-State. Frank Martin's a Miami homegrown guy. And I was actually, in my ignorance, disappointed when Miami hired Larranaga. I had no idea. I knew he had taken George Mason to the Final Four, but I had no idea he was this good of a coach. And that's basically the backstory. It was a number of circumstances. Also, Frank Martin might have gotten a Miami job, but that was right around when the Shapiro scandal was dropping, and Frank Martin got in trouble for something in high school. I don't remember if he practiced players too long, or he had gotten in trouble with something when he coached in Miami in high school. So his slightly checkered past, Frank Haith's, whatever role he played in the Shapiro scandal, the contract being up and having a fallout with the AD at George Mason, it was like the perfect storm of things for Larranaga to come to Miami. It took 4 different things to happen, and they all happened perfectly. And that's how Miami.
Larranaga must have looked at this as a dream job. He looked at Coach Hayes' team, and then we're in the ACC, and he was like, man, I could do something with this team, and I can build my own team. He must have looked at this as just as a dream scenario right here. So he hopped right on it. Would you be correct about that?
Larranaga's never been shy about admitting that he thought that Haith did a good job of not leaving the cupboards bare, and that was part of why he was attracted to Miami. Now, it was only weeks after Larranaga got there that Shane Larkin transferred from DePaul and applied for the waiver to be eligible right away. So Shane Larkin was technically Larranaga's first recruit. But he inherited a transfer, Kenny Kaji. He inherited Duran Scott. He inherited Reggie Johnson, Ryan Brown. There were good players in the program already, to Frank Haith's credit. And, Larranaga said that was partly why he, wanted to come to Miami. He thought he could win with them, and obviously he did.
It's almost like a perfect.
Now he's building his own team. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, it's almost like a perfect storm for Larranaga. I mean, he's been in coaching forever. Like you said, he was at Virginia when Ralph Sampson was there and stuff, and he always wanted to come to the ACC. And now he gets to coach a University of Miami team in the ACC, being an old man, and he gets to retire in Miami. Like, what's better than that?
Mm-hmm. I would trade places. I mean, I don't want to give up the next 20 years of my life, but I would trade places and be 63, 64 years old and have my final job be in Miami. Who wouldn't want that?
Exactly. I mean, you can't ask for anything much more.
Let me say this too, and this is gonna sound like blasphemy, but I've had conversations with Charlie Strouser and Josh Kaufman and Josh Frank, all guys that work on the State of U staff with me. We've had long conversations about this. You can never do this, but I would like to know what Laranaga's career would have been like if he had half the talent that Coach K, who, by the way, is celebrating his 1,000th win today. They beat St. John's. I can only imagine. I know this is going to sound crazy, and like I said, it's going to be blasphemy. I think Jim Laranaga is a better coach than Mike Krzyzewski. I really do. I do. I know, it's crazy. But
because Laranaga's kind of a late bloomer. I mean, really. I mean, now he has, he's in the ECC, but he's really had to work his way up to this.
I mean that's true. But I can't help but wonder. You look at Miami taking Duke apart by 20 at Duke a week ago,
and it's not the first time Laranaga's done it to Duke either. He's killed him before here.
Laranaga's got a 4-game winning streak against UNC. He's 3-2 against Duke who's coming to Miami. Now, let's be honest about it. I love Angel Rodriguez. I love Sheldon McClellan. I love Palmer. All these guys we're talking about, all these freshmen. These guys are not 5-star McDonald's All-Americans. They're not Jahlil Okafor. They're not Quinn Cook. They're not Justice Winslow. I can't imagine with Jim Laranaga, for all he accomplishes, with good players, mind you, good players, what he could do with the kind of players that you get at Duke. What do you guys think he could do? I mean, a guy would be like a perennial Hall of Famer.
Could you imagine this team?
What happened?
Could you imagine this team with Okafor instead of Tanya?
Yeah, I mean, I love Tanya. I wouldn't even trade Tanya for Okafor right now. I know it's crazy, but. I mean, like a guy, if he had Okafor and he was able to keep him for more than 1 year, let's just say, or he had the talent. Switch rosters last year, all right? Miami goes 17-16 with a roster of, with all due respect, junk. And Mike Krzyzewski has got McDonald's All-Americans and lottery picks and all kinds of stuff on his roster, and he gets beat in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Give me Duke's roster last year with Jim Laranaga's coaching job last year, and you win a national championship. In my opinion, anyway.
It makes me wonder what happened in Laranaga's coaching career to make him such a late bloomer. I mean, like I said before, he was an assistant with Ralph Sampson, so his teams before his assistants have done very well and were legendary teams. So it makes me wonder what happened.
I think when he got to George Mason, I think he got comfortable there and just wanted to stay. That's what I think.
Yep, that was a big part of it. He really enjoyed that university, and he had it's weird. He had I can't remember all the details. They had a really good relationship with the athletic director at George Mason. They're good friends, and they had a falling out, and that's why he finally ended up leaving there because they were discussing an extension for him to stay at George Mason. I mean, guys, the way I look at it is sometimes, college is especially weird because, college, sometimes you have those really under-the-radar superstars that you never discover. What do we think when Al Golden, I hate to bring it back to football, but what do we think when Al Golden came to Miami? We were like, wow, this guy, his charisma, he was coming from Temple. We thought he was that guy that just needed a chance, Jim Laranaga, what we thought Al Golden was, except an older version.
And it's funny they came out on the same. It's funny they came out at the same time too.
Yeah. Both hired by the same AD that's no longer with us. What is that guy's name? Do you guys remember his name? He's at Nebraska now.
Eichenhorst, whatever his name is. He hired Laranaga, but Kirby Hocutt hired Golden.
Oh, was it? Yeah, so Laranaga came a year later, I think, then, yeah. But, Laranaga's in his fourth year. Al Golden's already finished his fourth year. Or Al Golden's finished his fifth year, sorry. So,
Well, all right, Jerry. Are you coming on next Sunday after the Florida State game? We're not going on next Sunday, are we? We're not going on next Sunday. Super Bowl Sunday, no?
No, we're not doing Super Bowl Sunday. We got
we're not going to be on next Sunday.
We have a special recruiting show Wednesday.
I'll do my best, guys, the Sunday after that. There's plenty of basketball left this year, so you guys just let me know whenever you need me on.
All right, appreciate it, Jerry.
Do you think we could go 6-2? Do you think we could go 6-2, Jerry?
What's that?
Did you leave? Do you think we could go 6-2?
I do think we can go 6-2. I really do. I think we should. I think we're going to eventually lose a game we shouldn't. But I think we're going to. You look at it now, we're 4-2, and we probably played 3 of the hardest games on our schedule already. So, I mean, they play 18 league games. I think 10 is minimum. I think they could win 11 or 12. I really do. And I know I was harsh on them a couple weeks ago, and I said we were going to lose to Duke. But, you know, when you're wrong, you're wrong. So
just imagine if we go on a 3-game winning streak. You know, we beat Georgia Tech, Florida State, then we beat Louisville and Miami. We'll be 7-2. Would it be fair to say if we go 7-2 is the regular season title up for grabs?
Wow, that's tough because the regular season title is going to be really tough because they lost their only game at Virginia. So that kind of counts as like, so instead of being like 2 games down, they're like 3 down because they're already down in the tiebreaker.
We just have to hope Virginia falls off.
Yeah, but you know what, guys, I'm not even concerned with that because the ACC tournament is another proving ground. If they win the ACC tournament, who cares if they lose the ACC regular season? And next year, I think they have as good a chance as any to really run through the conference. So I think this year a top 4 finish, top 5 even, would be fantastic. I could totally live with that. So
one more thing I wanted to ask before we let you go. At the end of that Duke game, there was a kind of a funny moment where Larinaga and Coach K shook hands, and Coach K kind of had that look like, okay, like you got my respect now. Like, did you see that?
You mean Boeheim had respect for Larinaga?
No, I'm saying after the end of the Duke game, Coach K kind of it was a different shake of the hand. Mm-hmm.
You know, Coach Krzyzewski, he's a legend. He's earned all his praise. I don't know. He seems like he's got something of a surly personality, if it's the best way I can describe it. I don't know how he feels about Jim Larinaga. I'm sure there's a mutual respect there. I'm sure he's probably getting sick of getting beat by Miami. So, and Krzyzewski is known as being, an okay guy, but he's an awful guy after a loss. So who knows what's going through his mind at that point. I'm sure he has a losing record to Miami since Larinaga got there. So how could you not respect Larinaga at this point? He's probably trying to figure out how this guy keeps beating him. So
right. Yeah, no, I'm saying the same thing because I remember the last time we blew him out, he kind of just shook his hand and walked off. But after this time, he was talking to him like, okay, you're doing something here.
He was actually really gracious. I was fortunate enough to be at that Miami game, the 90-63 game a couple of years ago. I was there, and I kid you not, guys. I've met Alex Rodriguez, David Justice. I've met my fair share of athletes in my day. When Coach Krzyzewski walked into the press room and was sitting, close enough that I could reach out and touch him, I nearly pissed myself. I never got so nervous before. There was something about his presence that made me so nervous. I can't explain it. It was the only time in my life I really have ever felt starstruck is when Coach Krzyzewski walked in. And after Miami beat them that badly, he was actually very gracious. His exact quote was, "It was men versus boys." Talking about that Kenny Taji, Shane Larkin, Durant Scott team against his team, which had Plumlee and Curry and a couple other guys. He said it, I think, 2 or 3 times. He's like, it was the only way I could tell it was a game. It was men versus boys. So he was gracious then. I think Miami actually had a much better team than Duke that year. So it wasn't so much that he got out-coached. I think he just recognized that Miami was a bunch of grown men, and he had a bunch of, freshmen and young players that just got dominated. So, that being said, it was great to be on, guys.
All right, Jerry, thanks.
That was Jerry Steinberg from State of the U.
And now it's we're at about 6:28. But hey, before we bring on Scott here from State of the U, this is what Coach K said about Angel Rodriguez.
Rodriguez was sensational. You know, he not only scored, but he just controlled the game. It's one of the best performances that I've seen in Cameron, really, from an opposing player. And you know, their whole team played well, but he really set the tone in how well he played. I mean, he was great. Not good. He was great.
So hey, he knows, man. We're coming for the ACC.
No, man, this team is going for the ACC championship, both regular season and tournament next year, man. I'm with Jerry 100%, man. This team's gonna be a Final Four team next year.
All right, now we got Scott from State of the U. Scott, you there?
I'm here.
Hey, Scott, how you doing, man? You come on here, talk a little recruiting. He says you're the recruiting guy. What's going on with recruiting this weekend?
Well, from what I understand, they got commits from several players from Gulliver, and they also got a commit from Amir Razzle, a running back from Coral Gables. And from what I just read on Twitter, they have more 2016 commits than the University of Florida has 2015 commits.
So
with National Signing Day being a week away.
So all these guys are 2016. So it means Golden has got to win this next year. Like, if we don't win, they're going to go away, right?
Well, you know, anything can happen. You know, all a commitment is when a kid gets real excited about a school and decides he's going to commit, but he's going to change his mind 4 or 5 times before National Signing Day. I mean, you know, all it really is a reservation. You know, it's saying, I'm going to take one of your scholarship spots until I tell you that I'm not. I'm really not a big believer in the commitment process. You know, it doesn't mean anything until you sign the dotted line on National Signing Day, so anything really can happen. My biggest problem with recruiting is that when kids give a commitment and they flip, they don't realize the impact that it has on the program and that it has on the other recruits. And there should be an early signing period so you can allow your early commits to go ahead and actually commit to the program and do so legally to where they're obligated to come.
I agree totally, because this committing, changing your mind every other week sometimes gets old, but they get caught up in the hype. I mean, with that being said, they're saying Scarlett is now considering Florida State because Frazier flipped from them to NC State.
Well, Frazier has nothing to do with Scarlett going to Florida State or not. Scarlett's girlfriend, I believe, is already enrolled at Florida State, and if he goes there, it's going to be because of her. It's really going to have nothing to do with football. It's going to be because of her. He's either going to go to Florida State or he's going to go to where he's going to honor his commitment and go to Miami. But I really don't think Frazier had anything to do with it. I think it just sweetens the pot knowing that there's one guy less talented who's not going to be in front of you.
How about Torrance Gibson visiting this week? He's supposed to be visiting Ohio State guy. Are they telling him quarterback?
That's very intriguing. That's a very interesting visit. I happen to think that it's going to be a package deal if Gibson comes. I've been suggesting all along that Mike Rumpf, who's the head coach at American Heritage, where Gibson went to school, I think he's good enough right now to where he needs to be promoted to a coach at the collegiate level. And I would love to see him come in and coach defensive backs at the University of Miami. And I'm just wondering if there's not a package deal already in the works to where Gibson and Rumpf would Gibson and Rumpf would come to Miami together.
You know, I've heard, rumors going around about a package deal Miami has planned. I haven't heard any names, but I heard there is a package deal out there. So maybe this could be it, because this came out of nowhere, Gibson coming to visiting.
Well, I don't know why he would want to visit, knowing that Brad Kaya is so firmly entrenched for this year. But they've been trying to sell him on the fact that they can put in wildcat packages and put in a different spread formation that he's used to working with, and give him some reps. They can also put him at wide receiver, which I think ultimately Ohio State would end up doing if he goes there, because they are just too deep at quarterback. They've got 3 kids on the roster now that are all capable of starting. Plus, they got another commit that would be coming in with Gibson. So I don't see the logic in him going there. And I think that no matter where he goes, he's going to end up sitting. All the schools that he's talking about are pretty deep at the quarterback position. So I think something's in the works at Miami. I just don't know what it is.
See, that's why I think if he comes to Miami, he redshirts next year. Then he'll be a backup his redshirt freshman year. And then Kai will probably go pro by that year. And in 2017, he'll be the starting quarterback.
Well, Kaya's got to give you 3 years.
Yeah,
so Kaya's going to play. He'll play 15 and he'll play 16. I don't know if Gibson were to redshirt if he were to come to Miami, because I think that would have to be part of the package, is that they would give him some reps. Because I don't think Gibson's going to want to stay forever anyway. I mean, Gibson's a guy that's already looking forward to playing on Sundays. And he's just a outstanding athlete. I don't think he's that great of a quarterback, but I think he's a tremendous athlete. When you have the size and speed that he does, you can play pretty much anywhere you want on the field. But I still think he was the 3rd or 4th best quarterback in Broward this year. But there's a lot of other players at American Heritage that could follow him and could follow Rump to Miami if that in fact was the deal.
Well, we need that. We haven't been able to hit Heritage yet. I mean, except what's his name, the fullback. I mean, that's pretty much it that Golden's got.
Well, the guy that I like the guy that I really like at Heritage is Keyshawn Bryant, the running back. I believe he was a sophomore this year, so he would be the class of 17. But he's an outstanding running back, and I think that he would be a guy that would be very high on my early recruiting list.
Do you know anything about?
Let me ask you.
Go, Jay.
Go ahead, Bo. Go ahead.
No, you're good.
No, go ahead, Bo.
I want to ask you about Shelton Johnson. They say it's a Miami-Florida State battle. Do you know anything about this?
About what?
Shelton Johnson. So they say it's a Miami-Florida State battle. He's real quiet. It's been real low-key. He's from Palm Beach, I think from Atlantic.
Oh, the kid's from Atlantic? I think Miami's going to win that battle. I think he's going to come with Charles Perry.
Go, Jay.
I wanted to ask you, it seems like a lot of kids from other states have been transferring to IMG from Orlando. What do you think of that?
Well, IMG is a great program. I mean, it's a football factory. I mean, you get the best of everything. Their facilities are better than most D2 or even some D1 schools. Plus, you've got a Heisman Trophy quarterback and a former NFL quarterback running the show over there. It's a football factory. That's really all that it is right now. And the good thing about it is Miami's pulling a lot of kids out of there. They got Ryan Fiennes from over there. They got the offensive lineman St. Louis. They got Scott Patchen. They're pulling kids from out of there. So send them all over there. I know that Malik Henry is transferring over from the kid who's committed to Florida State, the quarterback. He's transferring over, and the rich get richer. It's like when guys transfer and go to St. Thomas. It's a football factory. It's a feeder system for D1 schools, and they're going to get the best of everything.
Yeah, no, it's surprising that Miami's been able to get a lot of those recruits, seeing as who's running the show over there. I mean, everybody would have thought that Florida State would have been handling that.
Well, Chris Weinke, from what I'm told, doesn't really have the greatest of affinity for Florida State in their program, and that's been going on for a few years now. So we'll take that as far as we can ride it. And as long as we can do well by the guys from IMG that go there, then we should be able to continue to use that as a feeder school.
So we got about 10 days till signing day. Do you think everyone's going to stick that we have now, or are some of these guys going to flip? Are we going to have any surprises come signing day?
We're not going to get the number that we're looking to get. I don't see Golden signing a full class. I think you're pretty solid with guys like Walton and Cager, those guys are going to stick. My biggest concern is Scarlett. If you can have a backfield of Scarlett, Walton, and Yearby, and you can rotate those three backs going in and out, I think you're going to see it's going to be like the old days. And then you have Cager, Coley, Herb Waters. I mean, that's going to be a potent offense.
I'm going to tell you a receiver I like is Terrell Chapman. I watched that kid's highlights. He's only a 3-star, but, man, that kid, he goes and gets the ball.
Chapman can ball now. I've seen some highlights on him, and I think he's pretty solid. I think he's pretty committed. He reminds me a lot of Tyree Brady from Homestead, I believe he's from Homestead, South Bay. Yeah. He's a kid who can make plays in traffic, and I think he's capable of doing a lot of good things. I just don't know how much playing time he's going to get his freshman year because he's going to have a lot of guys in front of him.
How about Callaway? Is Callaway coming or going?
You got a shot at Callaway. I mean, he's got it narrowed down to 3 schools, and you're one of the 3 schools right now. And I don't see West Virginia getting him. I just don't see him wanting to go there. So it's going to be a battle between I believe it's Miami and Florida State.
Let me ask you about this whole National Signing Day process, because I'm in favor of we need to move this up to like December or something. I mean, are you cool with where it is now, or how do you like the process how it is?
I would like there to be an early signing day, like in November, December, when you can get kids to commit early, have them on campus maybe for your bowl game practices, have them come out a little bit longer than you can if they were just an honorary commit, which is really all that to me, a commitment is really just an honorary title because it doesn't mean anything until you actually sign. But if you can have an early signing day where you can have these kids come out during your full practices and spend more time with the program, I think that would mean a lot to the kids. And I think it also means a lot to the program knowing that you have these players in the fold and that you're going to be heading into spring ball, the bowl game, knowing that you've got these kids commit to the university. I think it's very important. I would be in favor of that.
Yeah, I agree. I don't like how we have to wait all the way until February. I think, you get it out the way early, and just like you said, then they could be on campus and participate with the team earlier than they do.
It would also cut down, I think, on the official visits, after January 1st. After that dead period is over in mid-January, it's a lot of wasted time, and I think that the decision should be made before then. And, kids now are being recruited after their sophomore year. They should know where they want to go to school. It shouldn't be that difficult for them to make the decision.
So,
I agree.
Scott, we hear that you're the guy that turned in Rick Sandlin. Is that you?
What?
That turned in Rick Sandlin. Rick Sandlin, he was bashing the recruits, sending all kinds of negative stuff about Golden.
Well, I wanted to make sure that the university was aware of it, not because I have any love loss for Al Golden. I mean, I've been on record now. I've written 2 or 3 columns that I just don't think he's the right fit for Miami. But I don't like anybody sandbagging the recruits.
Yeah, I totally agree because he blocked me off everything. So I mean, I'm glad you stopped the guy.
I think that if you consider yourself a Hurricanes fan, it's one thing to write something or to tweet something about Al Golden. If you dislike the way he's coaching the team, that's your right. But to go directly to the recruit, slam the university, that's where I draw the line, and I think it's uncalled for. He has the right to say what he wants, but if you tweet directly to a recruit and you are a booster of the program, and anyone that goes to the games is technically considered a booster because you're putting money into the program, it's technically an NCAA violation.
This guy is not, I don't even think he's a Canes fan, man. This guy lives in Ohio. He doesn't go to games. He stays on Twitter all day and talks to fucking porn stars. I don't know what this guy is up to, but I've had my fair share of history with this guy Rick the last 2 years, and it's with my opinion. I do not think he's a Canes fan at all.
When I saw him going after Scarlett, who I think is the key to this recruiting class, it just really rubbed me the wrong way, and I felt that the powers that be at the university needed to know about it and act accordingly. I also didn't want to see Miami in a position where any of the recruits could turn around and file tampering charges or any NCAA violation against the university for illegal contact during the dead period.
Yeah, he was doing it to
I'll
all
tell
the
you what. I mean, you bring up the whole kids turning them in and stuff. Like I said, I don't think he's a Canes fan. We need to investigate. He's probably tampering for another school. I don't know who he's a fan of, but he's probably doing this stuff for another school.
He's trolling for somebody. We just don't know who. I mean, if I really cared about him and wanted to get to the bottom of it, I could probably figure it out. But I try not to pay him any attention, especially now. He's running. He's blocking everybody, and he's signing up under different Twitter handles. And I think the university took care of it, so I'm just going to leave it alone.
Oh, so Scott, I got a question. You're not a Golden supporter, we're not, but we're going to support him for this season coming up. What do you think about fans that are actually rooting against the University of Miami next year, actually to lose?
I think it's crazy. I think it's stupid. I think that either you're a University of Miami football fan or you're not. To say that you're going to root against the team because you don't like the coaching staff, that's just absurd. I mean, the kids are the program. The program is not the coaching staff. The coaching staff can pick up and leave anytime they want, and the coaching staff can be fired at the will of the university. But the kids are the ones that are going to stay, and they're going to remain. And you've got to support the program.
I totally agree. I mean, you got people saying they're going to not re-up
when
their
they say
tickets.
When they say it's all about you, it's all about the kids. It's all about the program. And the kids that follow them. And I think that those people that say that they're not going to renew their ticket, they'll be there. When push comes to shove, they're going to be there.
I hope they are.
Yeah,
because
all it takes is a couple wins. All it takes in Miami is a couple wins, and everybody's happy.
We go
it's been
3-0
with all teams.
Look. Let's face it. If Al Golden beat Virginia and beat Pittsburgh, okay, and had a decent showing in a bowl game, then half of the conversations that are taking place this off season we would never be having.
I think if we win that Florida State game, we wouldn't have this conversation.
True. But I think that if you beat two teams, one at home that you should have beaten by 30 points, and another one on the road that you should have won by 30 points, then you wouldn't be having this conversation. You would have been at a better bowl game. You would have competed for the ACC Coastal Division.
It's a possibility, but we went 9-3 2 years ago, and there was still this conversation in the Louisville game. So,
well, the problem that we had 2 years ago was, you went 9-4, but you lost your last 4 games, and it seems like everything dissipated after the Florida State game. Everybody was jumping off the bandwagon. Duke Johnson got hurt at the Florida State game and was out for the season, and we could never really recover from that. This year, you didn't get hit by the injury bug. You just stunk it up on the field. So it's two totally different situations.
It's like the Florida State
remember, when you lost to Florida State and Duke Johnson got injured, Miami was without Philip Dorsett, its number one receiver. It was without Duke Johnson, its number one running back. Dorsett never came back. He tried to come back for the bowl game, but that didn't work. And if it wasn't for Stacey Coley, you would have had no offense.
But Florida State game killed us 2 years in a row. That's why I think this year coming up, it's a must-win, and we're going to win.
it's always a must-win, but this year is going to be more important because you're going to have a second-year Brad Kaya going against a rookie quarterback at Florida State. Florida State's not going to be as talented as they were this year or last year. They have a lot of guys going in the draft, as do we. But they have a lot of talent coming up, as do we. But it's going to be a level playing field because you're not going to see number 5 there anymore. But they still have to find a way to contain Dalvin Cook. You still got to find a way to contain Travis Rudolph. You're not going to have Nick O'Leary as your check down anymore. But that's what makes football games, and that's what makes football so exciting, especially college football. That's why college football is the greatest game God ever invented.
I agree.
Definitely.
I got one thing. I got another thing for you. I don't know if you've seen this on Twitter or Facebook, but what the Florida Gators are using to recruit with Randy Shannon coached Ray Lewis, and they show a video in the stadium of Ray Lewis.
I saw that today, and I hate the University of Florida. I always have, and Randy Shannon. I feel bad. I went to school with Randy, and we hung out together in school, but I really haven't seen him much since. But to me, it's just the ultimate form of being a traitor. I understand a job is a job, and you have to feed your family, but he had a good job at the University of Arkansas. They weren't letting him go. He was going to stay on their staff. He could have stayed there. He went to Florida to stick the knife in the University of Miami's back.
You think that's what he did?
If that's the way he wants to play, then that's fine. We're just going to have to, do one better, and we're going to have to start winning national championships and stick it up his ass. That's really all we're going to have to do.
I saw today Blake James is talking about he's trying to get a Florida-Miami series back playing Orlando. I'm hoping that happens.
I would like to see it happen. I don't know how important it is to Blake James to do that. I don't know if that's really high on his priority list. But I would like to see it happen.
Well, Scott, do you go to all the games?
I'm at every game, yes.
Home and away? Both?
No, just home.
So, what do you think about next year's schedule? I mean, we got Virginia Tech at home, Clemson, Nebraska. I mean, we got a good home schedule next year. People should come out next year, I think.
Well, Miami fans are fickle. Whether it's the University of Miami, Miami Dolphins, Miami Heat, it really doesn't matter. If your team is winning, people are going to want to come see you. Now, does that mean that you're going to have 60,000 people for the Bethune-Cookman game the first week of the season? I don't think so. And if you do, it's going to be more Bethune-Cookman fans. I don't know what Miami is capable of drawing at Sun Life. I just think it's an atrocious place for Miami to play because it's so far away from campus and it's not their stadium. But they should still draw well. I mean, if they can fill the lower bowl, I'm happy with that. Well, you're gonna have guys come out and see Nebraska. You're gonna have people come out and see some of the other ACC teams, but you can't expect them to pay top dollar to come see Arkansas State or Bethune-Cookman or some of the other non-ACC schools that they bring in.
I agree. I mean, we had Angela Means on here, Brad Kaya's mom on here the last 2 weeks, and she wants to sell out the Bethune-Cookman game, and I just don't think it's going to happen. I mean, we can try, but I don't think it can happen.
I mean, I love Angela. I love what she's doing. She's a good friend of mine, but I just don't see it happening. Unless they are going to tie it in somehow in a ticket package where you can get a ticket for Bethune-Cookman and get a ticket to another game as well, like they did last year with Florida State and UNC. I don't see how you're going to do it. I mean, if you can barely sell out Florida State. I don't know how you're going to sell out Bethune-Cookman. But, I love what Angela's doing. She's taking it to the grassroots. She's all over Twitter. She's all over Facebook. She's trying to build up the reputation of the U, and she's trying to bring the fans back. And I love it. I support her. I think she is, what the program is all about.
Yeah, she's doing a great job, getting everybody pumped up and getting, because there's so many negative fans after the season was over. I think what she's trying to do is get us behind the players instead of behind the coaches. I mean, because that's who we're rooting for, the players.
Well, I think what a lot of people don't understand is that a lot of us have 30 years or 40 years of experience as Hurricanes fans, and we are going through a time that we can't even fathom. If you followed the team back in the 80s and back in the 90s and the early part of the new millennium, to see the team go 6-7, you can't comprehend that. I mean, I have a very difficult time coming to grips with the fact that Miami could not win half of its games.
After watching the Butch Davis days when we went 5 and 6 that year, and then watching that team build up, I never thought I would see losing again. Never. My first experience, as I graduated from the University of Miami in 1989, and I think we lost 2 games my entire college career. That's crazy.
And to see this happening now is just absolutely disgusting. And I feel that there's no energy, there's no sense of urgency. And that's what bothers me the most with this administration and with this coaching staff, is that there's no I just see too much complacency, and I don't see anybody looking to fix what needs to be cured. There's certain cancer in that locker room, and it's not being discarded.
So do you put this on Donna?
And
do you think this is Donna's fault?
I think it's a Donna problem. I think it's a Blake James problem. I think it's an Al Golden problem. I think it's a Mark D'Onofrio problem. I think it's a Jethro Franklin problem. I think it's a Paul Williams problem. I mean, I just go on and on. Right. The only guys on that staff that I really happen to like are James Coley, who I think is going to be a great coach. I happen to like Brennan Carroll. I think he's a good coach. I like Ice. He brings a winning tradition from Booker T. Washington. I think he needs to be given a bigger role in the program. I just think that that the days have passed a lot of these coaches by. I mean, Art Kehoe was a very good friend of mine, but I think the game's passed him by. I mean, he's been there 30 years. It's time to move on.
How about Hurley Brown?
Hurley's finally coaching the position that I think he should be coaching.
Yeah.
He's not a bad guy, Hurley Brown. I got nothing against him. I like Michael Barrow, who was also a classmate of mine. But I think that they need to bring in some better position coaches that are more in tune with today's player. And I wrote a column last week that they need to bring in guys like Mike Bump, and they need to bring in guys like a Steve Walsh to help recruit, because these guys were not only great UM players, but they're coaches in our own backyard.
Well, how about a Chris Winkie?
And they can help you recruit.
How about a Chris Winkie?
Well, Chris Winkie is pretty firmly entrenched at IMG. I think he might be making more money at IMG than he could be making with us. Plus he's the top dog over there. So I don't know if that's a possibility. Plus, he's not really a Hurricane. He's not a guy that, he's still a Seminole. I'd like to bring in guys like Roland Smith, who's the head coach at Miami Central. He coached them to a state championship, and he coached it at Northwestern before.
Yeah, he's a legend.
I'd like to bring him in.
He's a legend.
I'd like to bring guys in that I know are going to be able to concentrate on coaching these kids up and also going into the parents' homes and signing kids up.
I want Lamar Thomas. That's who I want. I mean, Carroll could go to tight ends.
if you read my column, the first hire that I said they need to make is Lamar Thomas.
I mean, I'd like to see Ken Dorsey too. I mean, I think he would be a great offensive coordinator in the future.
Well, Dorsey would be great, but he's in the NFL right now. I don't see him taking a step back.
Wow.
He's the quarterback coach of the Carolina Panthers.
I love Ken Dorsey, but if Cam Newton don't start stepping up his pocket presence, Ken Dorsey might not be in the NFL.
Well, I would love to see Ken come up. Another thing with Dorsey though, he was a great Hurricane, but he's a California kid. He's not a guy that can go into the Miami area high schools and recruit with the Miami presence. Yes, he can say he won a national championship at Miami. He was a Heisman finalist, and he's one of the best quarterbacks that the University of Miami ever had. But when you look at the coaches that we have to pull from, there are so many that not only played at UM, but also played high school ball at UM or locally. Now, I know Steve Walsh came from Minnesota, but he's coached in the Palm Beach County school system for a long time. I mean, he would be a great Palm Beach County recruiter. And that's a county that we really don't recruit well from traditionally in the last couple of years. Miami's got, I think, 5 to 7 commits from Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach County. And that's just not a lot. I mean, they used to pull 15 a year out of there. We're just not doing it anymore. And that's what they need to concentrate on doing and do whatever it takes to get it done. I don't want to hear about a 3-star from New Jersey, because a 3-star from New Jersey isn't going to be the same as a 3-star from Florida. They're just not playing against the same talent.
I totally agree. I would really like to see him recruit on Louisiana a little harder, Florida and Georgia. I mean, and to get my quarterback from California.
Well, if they were to make it the state of Miami, like Schnellenberger originally had it, and they concentrated on this area, and they had the right people recruiting, and they had the right things to offer, then I think we would be a lot better off. But Golden is from the Northeast. He still likes that Northeast type player, but that's not what made Miami. Miami was not made with kids from New Jersey and kids from Maryland or anything of the sort. Kids from Miami were your Booker T kids, your kids from the inner cities of Miami, Stranahan High School, Dillard High School. I mean, that's where the program was made. And they would go to Fort Myers, and they would stay in South Florida. I mean, that's where the University of Miami made its money. And that's where Miami's always going to make its money.
And that's my whole problem with Golden and his whole defensive scheme. I mean, he's getting players from Florida and Alabama, and these guys are at any other college flying around at linebacker at 230, 235, and they get here and they have to be 260.
Well, if you remember the way Jimmy Johnson recruited, Jimmy recruited you based on speed. And when he was at Dallas, his whole contention was, if you were fast, I can teach you how to play.
That's what Charles Farms
but you
said
can't
last
teach
week.
Speed.
Charles Farms.
Miami always had guys that would fly around the football and be able to make tackles and be able to hit the holes and do whatever needed to be done. And we just don't have that right now.
Well, I got one last question for you. Is this defensive scheme going to change? Are they going to change it at all?
That's the gazillion-dollar question. It's. I remember after the Georgia Tech game, asking Coach Golden in his press conference, what is it that you saw from Georgia Tech that you weren't planning on seeing? Because Paul Johnson ran the same triple option at Navy. He ran it at Georgia Southern. He ran it every place that he's been, and it hasn't changed. So when you're playing your linebackers 9 yards off the ball and you're playing your cornerbacks equally as deep and you're playing against a triple option team, you're basically giving them a first down. Now, I don't know why the scheme is what it is. I don't know why they're insistent upon playing it that way. Do I see it changing? I really don't. Golden hasn't made any adjustments. He hasn't made any changes in 4 years. So I don't understand why he would do it now.
I mean, he's got to feel the pressure.
I think that there's got to be some changes made, but as long as he keeps his buddy as the DC and he insists upon running his scheme, nothing's going to change.
Because I saw the Duke game. After we lost, we came out against Duke. The Duke game, we came out and looked a whole totally different defense. Then the next week, go back to the old defense. I'm not understanding what they're doing on defense.
I don't think they are either, and I think that's the problem.
And I remember in his opening, when he first got hired for the job, he said we were going to run a 4-3, and sometimes we would go to a 3-4 because you have to be multiple. All this BS he gave us in his opening press conference. And all I'm seeing is this crappy 3-4 when we don't have the players to play the defense he wants to play.
Well, you have to look at the fact that Al Golden came from Temple. Mark D'Onofrio came from Temple. What has Temple ever won? Nothing. And when you hire a coach who's never won anything, how do they know how to win something? That's always been my biggest problem with Al Golden. He gives a great press conference, looks really good in a suit and tie, and he's a nice guy. I happen to like Al Golden as a person very much. He's a very formidable guy. He's the type of guy that if he was sitting in my living room, he could sell me anything from snow tires, living in Miami, to having my kid play for him.
Put it in the clip, Bo.
But on game day, I just don't see it. You know, you either win games or you don't. He's got the same record as Randy Shannon. I don't want to hear about the cloud. I'm tired of hearing about the cloud. I'm tired of hearing about Nevin Shapiro. You know, Penn State had a similar problem. USC had a similar problem. Ohio State had a similar problem. And it didn't hold up any of those classes.
I think it's just a fact that Al Golden does not know what he's doing with South Florida talent.
It takes a certain mindset to coach South Florida kids. There's no doubt about that. South Florida kids are different than any other kids in the country. And that's why I think you need to bring in South Florida coaches.
I hope he gets it right this year.
I agree, man.
I can't take it.
I've said it 100 times, and I'll say it again. Only thing that will get me on Al Golden's good side, we have to win 10 games, we have to win the Coastal, and we have to beat Florida State. Anything less than those three, it's time to look for a new coach.
I agree with you. You know, I spent a lot of time in December covering the different local bowl games. And I was able to spend a lot of time with Dan Mullen from Mississippi State and also Doc Holliday, who's the head coach at Marshall. And he's got two very successful guys that came from the University of Florida to become head coaches. They recruit the Florida area very well, and they win a lot of football games. And I was envious of these guys, because these guys know how to recruit South Florida, they know how to deal with South Florida players, and they know how to win. And, you know, I was very disappointed when comparing them to what we currently have, because we just don't have anything anywhere near it. And it's very disappointing.
It is very disappointing, man, because it used to be Miami was just flooded with talent. I mean, you had fucking head coach like Larry Coker get a national championship ring. I never really worried about head coaches until Al Golden and Randy Shannon.
Well, you know, Miami still has a lot of talent. They just don't have talent at the coaching levels.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean, I agree.
I think the University of Miami will always have players, but for the first time in a while, they need coaches to actually coach them up. You know, Larry Coker was more of a babysitter.
Yeah, he was.
Exactly.
Ed Reed would really run the show, and Coker was just the first guy to get off the plane.
I think it all comes down to Miami fans, man. We got to be honest with ourselves. We were spoiled because we went from Schellenberger to Jimmy Johnson to Dennis Erickson to Butch Davis. I mean, those are all pro, football players. Coaches. I mean, that shit is crazy.
Yeah, those are all coaches that have won national championships or built teams that won national championships. And Randy Shannon, unfortunately, he started the downtrend, and Al Golden has just continued it. And it's time to build back up, get a new coaching staff in here, and get some guys that can recruit these kids and coach them up. Why is it that you have guys like Luther Robinson who are playing pro ball right now that really couldn't get it going on in Miami?
I mean,
why do you hear scouts in All-Star games talking about how if the kids had better coaching, they'd be better players?
Look at Chicolo.
We're hearing about Gunther. Like, are you serious? Like, this shit is crazy.
Yeah, Gunther's going to get drafted.
But Sam Shields was playing in the Pro Bowl. He couldn't even start at the University of Miami.
Wow.
It's crazy, man.
But, Scott, man, we appreciate you coming on, man. Hopefully, we got a special show signing day. Hopefully you can come on and give your input on some of the recruiting that happens that day.
I'd be happy to. I look forward to speaking to you guys.
Hold on, Scott. Bo, play him the Al Golden clip before he goes.
All right.
Hold on, Scott. Bo's going to play the Al Golden
From now
clip.
on until in the future, my job as the head coach of the University of Miami is to love and respect you, make you the best student-athlete you can be, and win championships. That's my job.
That's his job.
Well,
I
don't think he's done his job yet.
Thank you for calling.
Maybe that's why he hasn't returned my phone call yet in the last couple of weeks. I don't know, but I just don't think he's done his job yet.
All right, Scott. Appreciate it,
All right,
man.
Scott.
You're definitely not going to get one-on-one time with him.
All right, guys. Take care.
All right.
That was Scott from State of the U. That was knowledgeable on a lot of things. Now we have a Florida State caller that hasn't called in a while. What's going on?
Yeah, what's up, man? Sheltered high.
So, what are you hearing about Scarlett? Kane, right?
Yeah, honestly, right now, I don't care. I mean, if Scarlett ends up coming with the FSU, I mean, that's nice, but I mean, we're already loaded in our Alvin Cook, Mario Pender, Jacquez Pat. I'm gonna tell you right now, you guys, not for real, you guys need Jordan Scarlett more so than we do, and I think you'll need it.
That's fact. No, that's fact.
But still, fact is, Scarlett or not, we're going to beat you next year.
You still got Walton, though. Walton's coming in. Everybody,
Look, I'm going to tell you guys straight up, and I'm going to be dead serious, and I'm going to be dead honest, and none of y'all can disagree with me when I say this. Y'all can throw out every single stat you want to about me. You can tell me how you guys are even with us in talent and everything like that, but at the end of the day, it is the fucking Golden factor. And as a Florida State fan, I am in love with Al Golden because he never lets me down when the game is on the line and when it matters the most. So no matter what
you can keep saying that. You can keep saying that. We're not going to beat you because of Golden. That's fine. You can say that. But we almost beat you with Golden once, and we're going to beat you now.
I mean, you guys, don't talk to me about almost. Will Muschamp almost beat South Carolina. Will Muschamp
y'all had a Heisman quarterback. Y'all had a Heisman quarterback versus our true freshman. Fuck out of here. I don't want to hear that shit.
Okay, and y'all had an entire bye week to prepare for us. So y'all got to go in there.
Y'all are the champions. We were a 6-16. We were a 6-17. Y'all went undefeated until your last game. What's that supposed to mean? What's the bye week supposed to do?
Okay, but the bye week, that gives you an opportunity to study film, look at our tendencies and everything like that, break down everything, and then also, too, think about it.
That's coaching. But that's coaching. I thought Al Golden can't coach, though. I mean, that's coaching.
But what is also a part of coaching? There's pre-game preparation, there's in-game preparation, and then there's in-game adjustments. And Al Golden, since he has been the head coach of the Miami Hurricanes, has failed to win the big game and failed to make adjustments in the big game. Look at both of the two games that Al Golden has as signature wins in his career was versus Ohio State and Florida, and both of them finished with losing records. So don't tell me that don't sit here and try to get me to believe you and say that Al Golden is going to beat Florida State when he has not been able to beat Florida State or win a big game.
Brad Kaya will beat Florida State next year. Fuck Al Golden. Brad Kaya will beat Florida State.
Best quarterback we've had since Dorsey will beat Florida State.
Okay, and now you're losing. Now you're losing your top receiver in Philip Dorsett, and you're losing your top tight end in Clive Walford or whatever. You think that?
Okay, and we got Standish Dobard.
You are our biggest fan. I say this every week. You are biggest fan. You're my biggest fan.
We got Standish Dobard, and then we got the number 1 JUCO tight end coming in. So we're all right. And Dobard had a big catch against y'all, but he fumbled it. We're fine.
And
Coley's going to take Dorsett's spot. We're fine on offense. We just need a defensive scheme to get affected.
But like I said, man, I'm not going to believe anything you tell me because everything you say comes with your cane shades. Because you straight up told me, you didn't tell me, but you told Renegade at the beginning of the year that you had a better receiving core when Rashad Green by himself had more receiving yards.
Let's go to Rashad Green. Dorsett
hold on.
is about to get drafted higher.
Dorsett's going to get drafted before Rashad Green. So I want to hear that shit. We have
Rashad Green got shut down by Gunner. By Artie Burns. He got shut down by what's his name at Florida, and then he was a no-show against fucking Oregon. Don't give me no Rashad Green. Where was Rashad Green in those games? He didn't even have 100 yards in all 3 of those games total.
Where was Philip Dorsett versus Virginia? Where was Philip Dorsett versus Pitt? Those are sucky-ass secondaries or whatever. So don't give me that crap.
Your man got shut down.
Before Green. Dorsett will get drafted before Green.
Do you see Dorsett's balling right now?
Dorset will get drafted before him. Let's make a bet.
Just like our tight end will get drafted before your tight end. Like I said.
We had a better receiver core.
We're going to have the number 1 pick in the draft. Who cares?
Okay.
I mean, what difference does that make?
And he's gone. And that's the big difference. He's gone now. Number 1 overall pick in the draft ain't on your team no more.
Your number 1 quarterback is gone. Your number 1 receiver is gone. Your number 1 tight end is gone. How many offensive linemen did you lose? How many offensive linemen you lose?
We lost 4 offensive linemen.
4 offensive linemen? Oh, shit. I wish we played y'all week 1. God, I wish we played y'all week 1.
Okay, I give you that. We're losing players on offense. And you know what? For us, it's going to be a little bit of a rebuilding year. But even still in our rebuilding years under Jimbo Fisher, we're still winning 10 games, and we're still winning the ACC Atlantic. You guys, in your best year, can't even win the Coastal under Al Golden. And you have the audacity to sit here and tell me that Al Golden is going to beat Jimbo Fisher? Really? I'm going to take Jimbo Fisher over freaking Al Golden.
Listen, you just said it. You just said it. You just said it. It's a rebuilding year. And you know what this is for Al Golden? This is all in. Pull out all the stops.
Okay, and you didn't think that the Florida State game versus us last year that wasn't an all-in game? You didn't think that the entire face of Miami was looking at Al Golden like, okay, Al Golden.
And your number 1 overall pick came out and made plays and won the game. And we had a true freshman who threw an interception on the last drive. Now he ain't a true freshman anymore.
Blame the clip, Bo.
This year right here is Golden's job. He's coaching for his job.
Okay, and like I said, and I'm telling you right now, as long as Al Golden is the head coach of the Miami Hurricanes will not beat Florida State, and they will not win the Coastal Division because Al Golden has yet to prove that. And he's made no changes on his defensive staff. He's made 0 changes. And expect me to believe that after you're losing Anthony Chickalo, Denzel Perriman, Gunner, and he hasn't been able to do shit with Tracy Howard and the that he's
Sheldon, hold on. Sheldon, hold on. We got Al Golden on here. Play the clip, Bo. Al Golden wants to tell you something.
No. Fuck the clip. No, I want to know what that new quarterback is going to do when Muhammad and Chad Thomas is coming after his ass. What's he going to do?
Okay, first of all, Muhammad's going to be matched up against Rod Johnson, and Rod Johnson shut down Anthony Chickalo last year, and he did that in his first game.
AQM ain't Chickalo.
Okay, and have you seen that boy Rod Johnson? Rod Johnson shut your pass rush down. Y'all try to put
so did everybody.
You put everybody on him, and you couldn't get shit on him.
Who didn't shut down Anthony Chickalo?
How many sacks did Anthony Chickalo or Tyreek McCord get on Jameis Winston that game? There was one sack.
Chickalo had 3 sacks all year. I'm not worried about it. He had 3 sacks all year.
But no,
you boasted about shutting down Anthony Chickalo. He had 3 sacks all year.
Yeah, all I got to say, and I will say it till I'm blue in the face. Y'all know as well as I do, and even if you brought All About the U on here, All About the U would tell you the exact same thing. He'd be like, you know what, guys, you know what, everything.
That's because All About the U. Yeah, don't use All About the U. All About the U is giving up. I don't want to hear.
All About
I don't want
the
to
U is
hear.
on some other shit right now. All About the U.
He gave up.
He gave up. When we were talking about Golden after Louisville, he said, stand behind Louisville. Now this shit happens. Now he wants to get rid of Golden. Guess what? I'm going to the games. He's the same one that said don't go to games. I'm going to the games. You going to the game, Jay? You going to the game, Monk?
Yeah.
I don't want to turn this into a bash and All About the U. All About the U's got all the right to think whatever he wants to think. But I will be going to the game. Definitely.
Hey, it is what it is, and you know what? I'm gonna tell you right now. I commend you boys because you guys are one of the very few Miami fans that actually still want to go to the games. Because I mean, you guys can only get like 15,000, 20,000 people in your stadiums or whatever. But you know, I mean, at the end of the day, I just can't understand how you guys call us fair weather fans when your fans, unless you guys are winning, don't show up for the games.
Well, thanks for calling, Florida State.
When did somebody say that? Though?
We'll talk to you next time.
Yeah. Who called you fair weather fans, though? What? When did that happen?
We got rid of them.
What happened? When did somebody call Florida State fair weather fans?
I do got a new clip. This is Golden after the bowl game. Listen to this.
And obviously,
can you hear it good? Can you hear what he's saying?
You know, our quarterback's going to be all the better for this whole experience.
Al, how do you get some of that improvement to translate onto the field?
It will. I have no doubt about it. It will. I have no doubt that it will.
He thinks it's going to translate into wins.
He thinks what?
The lady asked him, "How do you think?" He talked about Kaya, and she said, "When's it all going to come together and translate into wins?" And he said, "It will next year." That's what he said. These people need to. I know they keep coming after him, but his job is on the line. He feels the heat. He knows he has got to win, and he knows he's got to beat Florida State. And Florida State fans don't want to admit you're losing 4 offensive linemen, your tight end, your wide receiver, your quarterback, and you think you're going to come in and be a top 5 team again. It's not going to happen. Sorry. Miami.
Play it one more time, Bo. I want to hear his job, Bo. Play it one more time.
Miami and Clemson will be the teams of the ACC next year.
Yeah, no, it's that, and we'll get to play Clemson. That's gonna be the quarterback duel. I mean, Brad Kaya and the Clemson quarterback; those are gonna be the top quarterbacks in the ACC. So that Clemson game is gonna be tough. You know, like I said, I'm just hopeful, man. It is what it is. I'm just gonna watch the games and hope for the best, and hopefully, whatever process Al Golden's been talking about for 4 years comes around.
I want All About the U to call in.
You want who?
All About the U. I want him to call in. He hasn't called in a while.
Yeah, no, he hasn't called in. All About the U. It is what it is. He's giving up. He's got every right to give up. It is, that's cool. Only thing I don't agree with. Only thing I don't know where All About the U lives or whatever. But I know he don't go to games, so it's real easy for him to tell people not to go to games when he already don't go to games. So
that's why I don't agree with people telling people you're a fan. You're not a fan if you go support the team. You're hurting the program. But
I know he probably went to Oklahoma game with his buddy now.
But
I don't know.
We're not supporting these coaches. We're supporting the players. That's why after the games we go over there and we meet the players. We don't go meet Al Golden. Have you seen us take one picture with Al Golden or any of the coaches? Fuck no.
I've been to 2 Canes Fest as Al Golden was coach, and I've not went and got his autograph not one time. I'll just say that.
I mean, if I ran into him, I'll shake his hand. How you doing? Nice to meet you. Oh, well.
Yeah.
But other than that...
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, you there?
Yeah. What happened? We got cut off?
I don't know what happened. Just went blank.
Let me see if we still got the live feed. Hold on.
Live feed should be there. Still running.
Yeah. So what were you saying, Bo? We probably lost Jay.
No, Jay's right there. I see him on here.
No, I'm right here.
Oh,
I'm right here.
No, I'm just saying that
Yeah, we still got the live feed.
I'm just saying, man, we got to support the team, man, no matter what. I mean, it is what it is. We supported the Hurricane basketball team last year. We knew they were going to suck. I mean, so just because it's the coach, I'm still going to support them.
I mean, I never agreed with the whole, you know, when your team starts sucking, you stop going to games and shit. Like, come on, man, that shit's corny. What's the point of being a fan? You know what I mean? That's half the fun in it. Because when we do start winning again, then we start thinking back to years like this year.
I mean, I'm just
shit crazy.
It is what it is with Golden. I mean, I said it. You can't do anything but just be positive. Being negative makes shit worse. You know?
Yeah. And me personally, I'm done talking about it. Like I'm done talking about Golden. It is what it is. You know, now you just gotta, you know, the next thing on the plate is National Signing Day. Hopefully we could handle that and do well in that, and you know, then the spring game after that, man. It's just one step at a time until the season starts.
We're not getting a new coach.
Bitching.
We're not getting a new coach, so we got to deal with it.
A few years ago, we wrote love letters in the sand, right? We wrote these two little love letters in the sand, and then she would always ask me, she goes, who do you think got the love letters, or do you think someone read them? And I would make up some bullshit story, and instead of telling her that the letters just washed up in the fucking sand and no one's seen it, I would say, oh no, someone's seen it and it improved their relationship, or some bullshit. That's how I feel about Golden. Like, I just believe the whatever, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is with the guy. I mean, we're stuck with him, and we can't do nothing about it but just be positive, you know?
That's it. Be positive. I mean, you heard Angela. Be positive.
I mean, the whole thing is you don't even have to be positive. Like, don't even think about the football team, man. What about the basketball team that's about to get hot, you know? Check in on the baseball team that's about to get ready to start up, that's about to make some noise. I mean, just forget about football. That's what I did, man. I can't wait for this Super Bowl. I'm done with football. I'm ready for the off season. I need a break from this shit. It was a horrible year of football for me.
Yeah, but what makes me positive is knowing we have a quarterback. We have a quarterback. I mean, we have the players. If we would have won the Florida State game, we would probably be saying a different tune right now. Totally different. And it was just a play or two away from winning that game.
Man, I'm just tired of seeing these lose to Florida State and then quit the rest of the year bullshit, man.
Yeah.
I'm tired of seeing that shit.
Well, we got at least basketball are winning. And you know what was about the Florida State guy right there, Sheldon? He was texting me the other day, and I said, you're not talking nothing of basketball. And he's like, fuck basketball. Yeah, it's easy to say something when you're not no good at it.
Yeah.
And shit, wasn't he the one before basketball season saying he was a bigger basketball fan than he is in a football fan?
No, he said he goes.
I think he said baseball.
He said
he
goes to both.
He said baseball. We can talk shit. Yeah, I don't know. Well,
Renegade said he didn't even watch basketball. I mean, come on.
Yeah, we're 24. We're 24/7 Kane, like, you know, or 364, 365 Kane. So it don't matter what season around, we're going with it, you know.
With that being said, February 7th is the Baseball Fan Fest.
Oh yeah, man, I'll be out there. I love the Baseball Canes Fest, man. I love it. I think it's better than the regular Canes Fest. I mean, you get to go and you get to get autographs from the baseball players, and not only that. And an hour after that, you get to see an all-star game. You get to see the former alumni play the current team. That is awesome right there. You got Major League Baseball players on the field, Hall of Famers playing. I mean, I don't know who's going to play an alumni game this year, but it's awesome, man. Imagine if they did that with football.
Yeah, that would be pretty badass. I mean,
yeah, some little flag football shit. That would be dope.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I enjoy it. I'll be there this year. The Baseball Canes Fest. I enjoy it, man. It's definitely a good atmosphere there, and I'll be out there.
Man, I wrote down, man, our baseball team last year. I mean, we had a lot of guys go pro last year. I mean, Palmer went to the Nationals, Diaz went to the Braves, Carey. Man, we had all 8 guys get drafted last year. For the baseball team.
Yeah, I think Carey went to the Nationals too.
Yeah, Nationals.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of
them.
Yeah.
No, I had a blast, man, last season watching that team play, man. I was there for a couple carry home runs. That shit was dope. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it was very fun going out. Last year was really my first time going to the games a lot. So, you know.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the.
Yeah, it was definitely.
They play Florida February 20th, 21st, 22nd. I'm gonna try to go to 2 of those games. But yeah, Diaz went to the Braves, Carey, Washington, B-Rad went to Houston, Salas, Milwaukee, and then Palmer went to Anaheim. So that's 5 guys.
Yeah,
you got Chad on here?
Is
Chad on here, Bo?
Hold on. Hey, Chad, you there?
Yeah, I'm here, guys.
Oh, okay. No, I just wanted to let the audience know that Chad Spriggs is a new part. You know, he's part of the team now. And what can you tell the audience? You can tell the audience what they can expect from Cane Shades Radio now, since you're a part of the team.
The actual first thing I'm going to say about Cane Shades Radio is you guys came across as being the black sheep. I just want everybody to know Cane Shades Radio is about to go from the black sheep to the dark horse you never saw coming. You never know what you're going to expect on Cane Shades. We may have alumni calling in. We may have recruits calling in. We may have the past champions calling in, just like in last week. And by the way, Kevin Harris and Charles Farm III, if you're listening in, thank you. That meant a lot to us. You guys keep spreading the word. But based on Cane Shades, what to expect, all expectations, we will not shoot for the stars and hit the trees. Get ready, guys, is all I have to say.
There you go. That's Chad Spriggs.
I'm liking it.
Part of the Cane Shades Radio fam now.
Definitely. Big things happening. And that's funny. That's funny you talked about we were like the black sheep. They were all ripping us when we first started. That was some funny stuff.
Yeah, because, you know, I'm not going to name any of the other internet radio shows or podcasts, but most of them are a little conservative, and we're far from that, you know.
Right.
Hey, I listened to the first show the other day, and before this Donna crap came out, the other show gave me a hard time because I said she needs to forget about science buildings, fuck science buildings, and I got a hard time, and now look, she's leaving. I forgot. I listened to the whole show, man, and everything happened. I mean, Jay said Golden had to win. I mean, we had said so much shit, and everything has come to, what's the word I want to say? Fruition. Yeah, that's it.
Well, what did Jay say? You told me you listened to one of the first shows. What did Jay say that if Al Golden wins 6 games, that Jay would slap Al Golden?
No. I said
that was me or Jay.
No. I said if Golden goes 6-6, I'm gonna go to his office and punch him. And then Jay said, "Yeah, I'm gonna show up to Cane Fest and I'm gonna do something." It was, and then you're like, hey, everything they said that Bo and Jay said is just joking.
And that was before
that was before the season. That was before they even started practicing.
Was the off season.
Man, that shit. Hey, I probably meant it then. Now it is what it is now. Nah, I meant it then. I don't mean it now. Goddamn, I didn't think. I didn't think with all this pro talent we was gonna go 6-7, but it happened. So now, I guess I got to eat my words on that one.
Make sure you grab some hot sauce, Bo.
Yeah, no, definitely. But a lot of great things to look forward to. Now it's just waiting for National Signing Day. Just hoping we could flip some kids. I've been saying the last couple of weeks on Cane Shades Radio that Scarlett was going to go to Florida, and I got to say I changed my mind. I don't know why, but I think he's going to stay here. I think it's that Brad Kaya effect. That boy's out there recruiting.
You think he's going to stay?
And that's Brad Kaya. I said it last week on the show, is our best recruiting asset. And then you have Lawrence Kager that's following in line behind him. And the thing about it is, there was I mentioned it last week, a statement made by one of the recruits that it wasn't necessarily a cloud that was what was holding some of the recruits back or them decommitting. It was the fans. I mean, who wants to play in front of fans who are bashing their own school just because it's a rough year? And we all know exactly what's going on at the university with the coaching, and we know it has to be done. The University of Miami has to win, and supporting the players, keeping them motivated, is the only way that's going to happen. If you're not supporting the coaches, and you've got to step behind the players. If not, you're hurting the University of Miami. And the past champions that were on last week mentioned a comment. What have you done today to help the University of Miami be successful tomorrow? If you're not doing anything to help the university, you're either standing with us or you're standing against us. Pick a line to stand in.
I forgot to ask, after, we had Kelvin Harris last week, and I forgot to ask. It hit me later on, but that 1991 defense was statistically the best defense you ever had statistically. I mean, I believe they only allowed 20 points that season to Penn State, and other than that, they only allowed 16 or 10 points or whatever, and they shut out the Nebraska in the national championship. That was probably statistically one of the best defense we had.
And the reason it was one of the best defenses we've ever had is because they followed by leadership. And they mentioned leaders don't just lead. They produce other leaders. You've got to believe your brothers are going to be there. You've got to leave it all out on the field for the entire game, not just for one half. We've seen what happens when we put everything we have into it for one half. You play not to win the game, but not to lose it. And you end up losing anyway. So being properly prepared will keep you from having a piss-poor performance. The 6 Ps by Jimmy Johnson. And there was one other thing. The players trusted each other. That was on the top of the board of quotes. Can I trust you? And we've got to trust in each other. We've got to support the players. If not, it may be another decade before we're relevant.
Well, we got about 25 more minutes. If anyone's listening, our audience, the number is 855-403-9071. If you want to come on before we close the show, go ahead, man. Don't live your life in fear and just call.
What solace does fear bring if you're scorched by the flames anyway? But, well, guys, why don't you kind of mention what we have in the works coming up, Bo? What you guys working on?
Oh, we got Wednesday, February 4th, signing day special show. Hopefully we get some commits come on here, surprise some people, talk to some people. And let's make this a celebration for these guys coming to the University of Miami who we're going to be watching for the next 3 to 4 years.
I think that's the first step in getting behind the players. And getting on, letting these new guys know that we are behind you. No matter what's going on, we will support you. And
definitely.
As far as everybody continuing to bash and trying to hurt the university, I mean, your comments will fall on deaf ears until you do something to help the University of Miami be successful.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I understand it. Fans are going to be fans. They're going to say what they're going to say. And this is now the new generation that we live in with Twitter, because Twitter just gives a whole bunch of people an outlet to say whatever they want to say without really any consequence to what they say. So that's what you get now. But
I mean, just like with the Rick Sadler character, I gave him an outlet to come on the show, express his opinion. Well, his comment to me was, "See you, bitch." And
no, that's not what Rick does, man. I've been dealing with Rick for 2 years, man. 2 years. I give him credit because he was the first person I ever say or ever, how can I say, was doubtful of Golden. We were 7-0 going to Florida State, and he was still saying, no, we have to fire Golden. But like I said, I don't even think he's a University of Miami fan. He's just out there
that's what I'm saying. We don't know nothing about this guy. Well, what evidence do we have that he's actually a Miami Hurricanes fan? What evidence do we have? He's just an idiot.
The evidence that I have right now is the dude's a plumber in Ohio. As far as coming to games, I don't know anything of that nature, unless he did go to the Oklahoma game. But as far as getting behind, I mean, dude has had letters posted on his Twitter before I got blocked, that is, from Board of Trustee members, from season ticket holders, and I haven't even seen. Where did he get this information from?
I don't know how this guy gets his information. This guy has put Blake Davis' number out there. He's putting Golden's assistant's number. I don't know. He's been putting numbers out for 2 years. This guy is crazy.
Yeah, either he's not a Miami Hurricanes fan, or he is a Miami Hurricanes fan and he's suffering from mental issues or something or whatever. I haven't figured that one out yet.
I'm surprised it's blown up like this. Like, this is something that, like, I'm not really on the Facebook thing, but I'm on Twitter, and this is something that's been known on Twitter about Rick. Just block him and keep moving. Like, this has been known for like 2 years about Rick. So it's kind of
number one Miami Hurricane troll out there. I mean, shit, we're talking about him right now.
He has to.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, you guys may be right. He's we're kind of playing into his game, but as long as we stand behind our recruits and we stand behind our current players, and they leave it all out on the field, play to their full potential, we have nothing to worry about. We're going to be okay as long as everybody stands united. And I made a statement to say. On Facebook. Well, I know you said you're not really on the Facebook thing. You do the Twitter. But I said, one way or another, people are going to unite, either to support the players or to hate me. And I think I'm on the right show to get that done. You're either going to dislike me or you're going to support the players. You're going to unite in one way or another.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, Bo, weren't you in... What, like, you went overseas, you were in the Army, right? And I believe George Bush was the president. As a soldier, you didn't care what the hell was going on with George Bush. Did you or did you not?
No, you don't care what the president does. You just want to make sure everyone is you're sticking up for each other.
Exactly, and that's how I kind of relate this to this situation,
By the way, Bo, thank you for your service.
No, it ain't nothing. But, man, there's this guy. I don't know if you know him or not. His name's Andrew Farrelly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with Andrew.
I would love to have him call in because he did a one-on-one interview today with Kager.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Okay.
He just posted it.
Okay, yeah, I gotta check that out, man. And definitely, man, that kid, I don't know how you say his name, Kager, but that kid's out there doing his recruiting thing. I was kind of worried. When he committed to us on TV, live TV and stuff, I was like, man, I don't know if he's gonna stick. But this guy's definitely looking like he's ready to be a Hurricane.
He's definitely getting behind. Like I said, he's taking the next step that Brad Kyatt took. And as long as we've got guys believing and we've got a good foundation, which we do. I mean, reaching out, everybody's worried about Perryman being gone. Well, I said it last week. We've got Darian Owens, Demetrius Jackson, and Jawan Young, 3 huge linebackers that are fast. And then not to mention everybody that we have on the defensive line coming. Michael Weiss, he's actually going to be in playing shape this year. Chad Thomas. I mean, we've got Mohammed coming back. We've got Jermaine Grace, which has actually stepped up his game hugely. I haven't even gotten to the DBs yet. We've got the talent, and I think with them seeing how our current seniors did at the Senior Bowl practices, because that's where everything's at. It's at the practices. The game is just a showcase, and the potential's there. You've got the chance of a lifetime to play football at the University of Miami. And Charles Farnes told me last night, he said he's just a regular guy. He got the chance to do what he loves in college and become part of a family. Because once you're an athlete at the University of Miami, you get to take the University of Miami family with you throughout your life. It's something that you'll never be able to experience in your life unless you are a member, a fan, or a part of the University of Miami. If you're not, you wouldn't understand.
Exactly. It's something different. I can attest to it because born and raised in Miami, I'm a fan of every single sports team in Miami. And the love around the University of Miami is just different from all of them.
It's absolutely unbelievable. I was born and raised in the state of Alabama around a bunch of Dead Bear fans and Auburn University. Watching these 80s teams when I was growing up and getting into football, something drew me to that. Something drew me to the green and orange. And I've been a fan ever since. That drive, that support, the potential to be a part of greatness is something I wanted to be a part of. And the experience that I had this year, even though we went 6-7, I had a great time with the fans while I was there. The ones that were supporting the university. The other ones that don't, I had a huge problem with. But it's a great thing to be a part of the University of Miami and to bleed orange and green.
Definitely.
Hey,
Yeah.
I got our Facebook page over 1,000 friends now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The word is spreading.
We need more friends. We need 5,000.
Yeah.
Well, hey, we'll definitely be at 5,000 before the spring game because it's about to start spreading the guests that we're going to have coming on. We got some big names and some big things in the works.
So, Chad, did you come to any home games? Are you going to come to any home games with us this year?
Yes, I definitely am. I came to 3 games last year. I went to Georgia Tech, came to the Duke game, and a Florida State game. I'm hopefully going to be living in Miami here real soon, so I will be at every single home game, and I'll travel to every away game that I can. My support will be felt, and it was felt this year, 14 hours away.
Well, I won't say every away game. I figured I'll be every home game. I'll probably go to the FAU game, which will be in Boca, and I'm going to go to Florida State because that place is awesome to go watch a game.
It's an experience unless you've been there. You can't explain it, and sometimes it's hard to explain it even when you're there.
All right, hey, we got 15 minutes left. I'm gonna do something interesting right now. I have a Cane Shades Radio bumper sticker. The next caller that calls in gets a Cane Shades Radio bumper sticker. Let's see if we can get a caller within 15 minutes to get yourself a Cane Shades Radio bumper sticker. The number is 855-403-9071.
Hope the Florida
Call
State
in
guy.
on a Cane Shades Radio bumper sticker.
I hope it's the Florida State guy that calls in.
Oh man, yeah, no, definitely. We gotta. I mean, shit. This show we didn't get most of our regular callers, so pretty much the Florida State guy's the only one that called in.
Yeah, I mean, another thing I saw was Adidas. Oh,
there it is.
There it
is.
Hey, Shades Radio.
Cane Shades Radio. Did I win? Yes, you did. Who's this?
Just Ray.
Oh, Ray. I was gonna send you one anyways, Ray. But
oh, we got another caller.
Go ahead. Hit me up with your address there, Ray.
We got another caller. Another caller.
Another caller.
Hey,
it's me again, y'all.
Hey, you won a Cane Shades bumper sticker.
Hey. I mean, I feel special. That's my first time ever getting hung up on. I mean, dang. It took
and now you want a
it
Cane
took 3
Shades.
months for that to happen, man. I'm touched. I'm legitimately touched, y'all.
Well, now you
want. Well, look on the bright side. You get a Cane Shades Radio bumper sticker.
Well, who is that? Next time I moderate, I'll make sure I hang up on him.
That's the Florida State.
Like I said, you never know what you're going to expect on Cane Shades.
I'm good. I don't need a beer. I'm good. Here. Then, or switch it up. I'm going to call one.
My favorite part of the show.
Yeah, I'm drinking
Ray's
There
wife.
he is, talking to
My
his wife.
favorite part of the show. My favorite part of the show.
Ray, put your wife on, if you can.
Oh, no, she just bounced. She was telling me I had to take my shake. Yeah, my teeth are hurting bad right now, so that's all I can eat lately is shakes.
What's going on with your teeth, Ray? Like, what happened?
It's abscessed all across, man.
Damn.
You got to get them all pulled out?
Yeah, it's painful.
What do you got, dentures?
So what you going to do now? Get gold teeth, or?
I'm getting keel, man. Straight keel.
Uh-oh.
Oh, there it is. He's going to be at the Jaguars game straight grilling.
So Ray, go ahead and tell the audience what's going on with Two Local Radio.
I'm just doing my thing, man. Just doing my thing. I just came on here to say that I've been listening to y'all for a while tonight. Y'all are doing a great job. That's all.
We got a new person part of the team. His name is Chad. You want to say what's up, Ray?
Hey, how you doing, Chad?
Doing well. Glad to be a part of Cane Shades Radio, and the experience is going well, and it's only going to get better.
Ray got some. What do you do, Ray, with Too Loco? You got a lot of unsigned artists that come on or whatever.
Correct. I've got unsigned artists. I have artists that like go on every tour known to man. Do national anthems for everybody for all the sports teams. I mean, it's crazy. So.
Yeah, we definitely need to set an off-the-radio show to go over some stuff. Off-the-radio conference call. But that's what I'm going to say at this moment. I'll go over more details when we speak. But there's some things in the works that could be very interesting.
All right, man. It sounds good. You sure you don't want to, tell the millions of listeners out there?
Well, I am, and we're going to dedicate a show to it to spread the word. There's some big shows in the works, working on getting these guys that are actually standing behind the University of Miami, past champions as well, coming on and explaining what they're doing. What was the deciding factor in the donations of $1.6 million to financially stand behind the university that much? So it's going to be interesting, is all I have to say. We're no longer the black sheep. We're now the dark horse, like I mentioned.
All righty. All right. Well, I'm not going to keep you all, so do your thing, and very proud of y'all. Take care.
Yo, hit me up with your address so I can send you that bumper sticker.
All right, man.
All right.
Better put on
That's Ray, the owner of Too Loco Radio right there.
Hey, Shelter Hell, he's still on here? Or he left?
I'm still here, man. I'm still here.
Oh, you still here? So, no, we're going to make you talk about it, man. What the fuck's up with your basketball team?
I knew this. I don't know, man. I truly don't know, man. Freaking XRM, Xavier Raythan Mays, dropped 35 points on North Carolina, but for some reason we just can't. We've got 3 7-footers, and all of them are soft like Charmin. Like, they just get pulled over, and I don't know, man. Florida State basketball right now, the only thing that I can really look forward to in any kind of basketball for us this year is our women, because our women are doing good. But our men are just, man, I don't even know at this point if we even gonna make the fucking NIT.
Yo, and it's crazy because you guys have recruited good the past couple of years. Y'all gotten some pretty good players to go to your school.
Hamilton refuses to change his fucking scheme because the thing is, okay, when Leonard Hamilton, 4 or 5 years ago, when we burst onto the scene, like in 2009, when we beat North Carolina and then we lost to Duke in the ACC championship, and we had Solomon Alabi, freaking Tony Douglas and all those other boys and everything like that. We ran a perfect scheme or whatever that nobody had seen because, it was like a little 2-3 zone or whatever. We're pretty much taking all the shooters off of the perimeter, and then we're just forcing everybody to come down low. Good thing about that is we had 7'3" Solomon Alabi, who was the beast. Problem now is that we've got freaking Kyle Turpin, Bogdanovich, and whatever, and these dudes, like, I'm telling you, if you breathe on them, they're going to fall over. Like, they're just that freaking soft. And I just don't know, like, if we just need to get them into some strength and conditioning or what. And also, too, it did hurt us this year that our top scorer went out with academic ineligibility. So, what you going to do, man,
Support the players, the ones you got.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
I got to address something because I heard some I'm not going to call it blasphemy, but I just feel like it's a little bit insulting. I give Jim Larrañaga all the credit in the world. What he is doing with the University of Miami is a hell of a job. But did that one to say that Jim Larrañaga is a better coach than Mike Krzyzewski?
Yeah, he did.
That was Jerry Steinberg from the State of the U.
Hey, he's got
but okay, I get what he's saying. I get what he's saying. Duke has had, they've had the number 1 class coming in this past signing class. They're projected to have another number 1 signing class, and Larrañaga has beat him 3 out of the 5 times that we played.
Kudos to him. I give him congratulations. But y'all are probably the most notorious for having your cane shades on, but even y'all can't even side with that blasphemy.
I mean, if I go pound for pound, I'm saying he's 3-2 against them. He's been to a Final Four. He was just never been in a situation in a big time program like Coach K has been.
And let's be honest. Let's be honest here. Larinaga does have a track record of winning championships, just not as a head coach, but he was an assistant on that Virginia team with Ralph Sampson. So let's not just short Larinaga.
Okay, but the thing is, the reason that the Duke program is the way that it is right now, what was Duke before Mike Krzyzewski got there? I think that Duke was a lot worse off than what George Mason was when freaking Larinaga
come on. Duke was still in the ACC, a power conference.
Yeah,
I mean,
they were
George
Mason. They were
Mason.
the doormats to North Carolina. They weren't doing anything of relevancy before Mike Krzyzewski got there. And then don't forget that he also won 73 games at the Army, at the West Point.
Well,
like I said, I give Jim Larinaga all the credit in the world. I mean, but don't forget, Leonard Hamilton's beaten fucking Mike Krzyzewski 2 times as well, too.
2 times. But what's his overall record against Coach K? 2 and what? 20? My man's 3-2 against him. My man has a winning record against Roy Williams. I mean, who do you want to put him against?
Let me ask you a question, Bo. If you are going to start a team and you want your head coach, who are you going to take? Are you going to take Mike Krzyzewski or Jim Larinaga?
I'm taking my man, Coach L.
Yeah, I'm
right now, Coach L.
I mean, look what Coach L, like he said in his little speech, Jerry said, look at last year's Miami team. That team should have been maybe an 8 or 9 win team. And we had a decent season. If Coach K had that team, they probably would have won maybe 12, 13 games.
I don't know about 8, 9 win team though. Like damn,
man, dude, that team. If you look at that team overall, that team was terrible. Like we had nobody.
That team should have definitely been at least top 3 worst in the ACC, and we went in there. We hung with Syracuse twice. I mean.
Yeah, and what Jerry said was interesting. If Larinaga would have had Duke's team from last year, that probably would have been a national championship team.
Okay, but everybody sits here and makes it seem like you could just coach talent, and just by coaching talent, that's going to give you a championship or whatever. Because look at the Miami.
No, this is look. Listen, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying, but this is the difference. Coach K is coaching NBA talent. Larinaga is not coaching NBA talent as of right now.
How many Duke players that Mike Krzyzewski has coached has played more than 5 years in the NBA? Right now, he's got Kyrie Irving.
These past 2 years, he's been recruiting NBA talent. Number 1 every year, recruiting classes.
I mean,
and check it out. Duke has what? How many McDonald All-Americans or whatever on their team, and we beat them by 16 points? Yeah, Duke has better talent than us, and we beat them by 16 points. That has to go to coaching.
I don't deny that, but I mean, Jim Larinaga. And like I said, as many times as I can say it on this radio, I give him all the credit in the world. Jim Larinaga has done a hell of a job. What he did with George Mason, that was incredible. What he's doing with the University of Miami right now, that is incredible. But don't you think it is a little bit easier for Jim Larinaga to win in a place where he's got 0 expectations? Like Miami fans, Jim Larinaga pretty much set your expectations. Right now, you guys are satisfied with whatever Jim Larinaga puts out there for you guys because the Miami basketball was of nothing. Mike Krzyzewski's got every single year expectations to win the national championship. That's not easy to coach. It's not easy to coach a bunch of talent. Eric Spoelstra, the first year that the Miami Heat in 2011, remember that year when you guys got LeBron and
number 2 seed went to the NBA Finals
and everything like that?
NBA
what did
Finals.
they do versus Dallas? Everybody thought,
LeBron
got all
chokes.
this talent.
LeBron chokes. That's what happened. Let's be real. LeBron choked that first series against Dallas.
Okay.
NBA's rigged, but all right.
but LeBron James choked or whatever. But I mean, going into that season, everybody, Miami Heat fans still don't think that Eric Spoelstra can coach after he's gotten two NBA championships or whatever. It's hard to coach talent. I mean, could you say the exact same thing about John Calipari? I mean, you think that John Calipari's got more talent than anybody. He's got 2 freaking NBA squads on his roster. I mean, and they're 19-0. Can you just take any
You know
coach
why?
over and like?
You know why they're
coach that
undefeated? Because he hasn't coached against Coach L yet. That's why.
Okay, he hasn't coached. I'm going to tell you right now, and Bo, I know you got your cane shades on. You always got your cane shades on. But you know as well as I do, if you guys were to face that Kentucky team, you're losing by at least 10 points. That's just, and I hate that.
Any given day, it can happen.
Tell you, okay. I'll answer the question. This year we play Kentucky. They might beat us by maybe 10. Okay, that's fine. Next year we beat them by 10.
I agree with you 100% with that.
Next year we're going to Final Four. But hey, with that being said,
I'm saying they get those recruiting classes every year. I mean, how many freshmen? I mean, come on. They're going to have another Kentucky team that's going to be ready to go win a championship next year.
But hey, with that being said, it's 8 o'clock. Hey, it's 8 o'clock. We got to get off here. We play Florida State Saturday in basketball. Go Canes. Love to use out.
Yeah, this is Uncle D Nasty. We're going to close the show. And by the way, we have 2 opportunities to beat Louisville. We could sweep Louisville. And I'm out.
Definitely. This is your boy Jay. I'm out, man.
This is Chad. Thanks for listening, guys.